John, am I good to go?
Still waiting to see Tyler connected.
Okay.
You are live.
I am live. Hope so. Thank you all for your patience. Our apologies for the technical difficulties. Thank you all for those that are on the live feed. We appreciate your patience and understanding. Technologies of today, of course, have brought some real perspective to the meaning of in person. We're waiting for Tyler to join us.
Still don't see his name.
While we're waiting for Tyler to join us, I would like to again welcome you to the 5th Annual Autism Speaker Series. We are so grateful for everyone attending tonight's event via Zoom and all that are here in person. Our hope is to bring awareness to our campus and our community. I am Janine Starinsky, Director of the Autism Center at Misericordia University, and I am happy to be your moderator. We want to thank the following vendors: the Autism Collaboration Centers for Excellence, or better known as ACE, Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, better known as OVR, Beyond Behavior, Reaching Beyond Limits, and Parenting Autism United. Along with our panel speakers, Mrs. Kristen Leary, Vocational Rehabilitation Supervisor, Mrs. Joanna Cunningham, Managing Partner of Beyond Behavior, Ms. Melinda Baldanucci, Manager of the ALL Program, and Mr. and Mrs. John Olszewski, parents of an integrated student here at Misericordia University. For those of you who don't know, the autism started back in 2019 under the direction of Dr. Barbara Schwartz-Bechet, Dean, College of Health Sciences and Education, TED, here at Misericordia University. Dr. Schwartz-Bechet is responsible for bringing the Integrated Studies program here to Misericordia University. We are so happy to announce that this program has officially been approved by the Department of Education to be a comprehensive transition post-secondary program. Autism diagnoses are increasing nationally at an extraordinary rate. Educators, practitioners, families, and the community at large are seeking information on how to understand and support and meet the needs of people living with autism. This event will offer a broad overview of autism and how we can be aware of it and accept it better within our community and on campus. Tyler Mcnamara is our guest speaker. Tyler Mcnamara is an international best-selling author, speaker, and CEO of his company, Autism Works. For those of you that have registered in person, Tyler was kind enough to send in two signature autographed books. Please make sure that you register for the raffle, and before the end of this evening, we'll be raffling off 2 of his signature books. Tyler was diagnosed with autism at 2 years old and was completely nonverbal until 6. At 12, he began speaking in full sentences. Tyler overcame adversity and triumphed against all odds and captured his story in best-selling book Population 1, Autism Adversity, and The Will to Succeed he wrote at only 17 years old. Tyler didn't stop there. He just recently released his second book, Becoming One, Autism, Adolescence, and Transition to Adulthood, a sequel that picks up where Population once left off, Inside the Mind of Autism. It is, with all due respect, I would like to introduce to you Tyler Mcnamara. Tyler doesn't have access to turn on his microphone or his, hold on. He doesn't have access to turn on camera or mic.
Is he under the Alani Pfeiffer account?
Yes.
Promote him to panelist.
Tyler is coming from Washington. He's under Tyler.
There's no Tyler account in the participants. There's a lot of it.
How about that? We're texting each other, and he's in Washington State. Or is it under Jody Mcnamara, his father?
No Mcnamers. We've got 8 attendees, 2 panelists right now.
He said that they are in the room. It's under Alani. He's going to change it.
Yeah, we have audio, we don't have video.
We hear you.
Yeah, so we just, if you could turn video on, that would be great. We have audio. So the host has stopped the video. We just need them to open up the video. Great, that's what we needed. Thank you.
Very good. Hi, Tyler.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyler Mcnamer, and I am so delighted to be here. This is a great opportunity, and thank you all very much for inviting me to your theater right here. And let's get started. So, one thing I wanted to say, the very first question that I've asked myself as I was doing this outline is, what is acceptance? I'll give you a moment to think real quick. So what is acceptance? After pondering this over for 3 hours in my room, I decided to give up and go to the dictionary to review what acceptance is. Here, I'll read you 2 definitions of what it means. The definition number 1. The action of process of being received as adequate and suitable, typically to be admitted into a group. Here is the second definition. The action of consenting to receive or undertake something offered. And that's why dictionaries are so important. So after reviewing about acceptance, I decided to come up with an example of acceptance. Here is what I wrote. I'm excited and I accept the opportunity to be with you this evening. So thank you all very much. Now we got acceptance going on. Now let's go for the next question. What is success? I defined success, this time I did not use a dictionary and decided to define it myself. So I defined success as having the ability to accept challenges and fulfilling them. I do not believe that there are different levels of success, however. They can all be equally rewarding. So, publishing a book can be just as satisfying as being able to talk for the very first time or getting your driver's license at age 26. Anything can be a big deal and worth celebrating over. So I like to take the moment and challenge you to have the opportunity to find your success and to find a way how to celebrate your success. Can we all do that together? Very good. Now, success is all about making the choice. So there are two options: accept success or decline success. So I have this one question I want to ask you. Do you accept yourself for success? Or do you choose to decline on yourself and watch you decline? Think it over, will you? That's what I like to do. I like to make people think. You'd be amazed at how many people have chosen option B, unfortunately. So my goal this evening is to try to persuade and negotiate to go into option A. So how do you build self-confidence to this success? And how do you maintain self-confidence? And most importantly, how do you keep going no matter what? Let's get started. Shall we? So it's time to choose. So it's time to choose. Do you accept or do you decline? Time to choose. It will impact your life. Do you accept or do you decline? Time to choose now. There is, now, I would like to get to the part that's the next section of this here evening. I feel like that's very equally important and as well. So there's a time for awareness, and there is also an equal amount of time for acceptance too. So there's a time for awareness, and there's a time for acceptance. Now, I'm always open-minded and open-hearted too. So here's what I think. Here's what I believe. I believe that the majority of people now are already aware of autism. Now the priority at this moment, at this evening, at this theater is to accept it. Not just accepting others, not just accepting the other people who have autism, but for the people with autism to accept themselves for having it. It is important to know that we are not trying to get rid of autism. Rather, we are working to negotiate with autism. Let's make this a good challenge for you. Instead of trying to get rid of autism, you're trying to negotiate with it. And the most important challenge for this evening is to accept yourself before accepting others. And also, here's what I like to say. Before you can gain acceptance, you must first accept yourself. That is what I recommend this evening. So before you gain acceptance, you must first accept yourself first. Can we do all that together? That will be a big challenge, and I know it will be challenging and hard, but I know it's possible. Anything, just about anything that you can think of, can be extremely difficult, but never impossible to accomplish. I would like you to walk home with that. Extremely difficult, but never impossible to accomplish. Can we do that all together? Thank you very much. So we negotiate with autism. Let's all do that. And we can do that by learning of this prime example of something that happened to me right after right after graduating high school. It's the boy with the helmet. Now I'm not one for giving names to people because I respect people's privacy, but we'll call him the boy with the helmet. Now what's really special about him is that this student, he could not talk. He moved very slowly. He would occasionally have seizures from time to time. But he got a job selling tickets at the baseball stadium. Isn't that amazing? Now I'm a really big passion about baseball. I love playing it. I love watching it. Baseball is my favorite sport. And watching this boy with the helmet selling tickets at the baseball stadium, that's really quite extraordinary. You know, if he would make the choice, he would have made a tremendous public speaker. I wouldn't mind paying tickets to see him and see his side of the story. on how he's able to overcome these challenges and make his unique ability work for the community and to work for baseball fans all over Seattle. Go Mariners! It's really quite extraordinary. I met this kid at this place in the community. It's called the ALP, which stands for Adult Living Program, where back then we actually specialize on accepting the opportunities. What kind of opportunities do we accept? We accept the opportunities of work on a resume, get a job, obtain a driver's license, and live independently. We chose to accept all these different important life lessons, and the one thing that really works for the ALP program is after we do these events, whether it be working on a resume, getting a job, obtaining a driver's license, and living independently, the next thing that's really important and quite frankly quite importantly that's important for this talk is to celebrate all of the achievements. So accept the challenge, celebrate. Accept the opportunities, work on it, and celebrate. And we do this for every achievement we do. Cake and balloons. I definitely remember it all, and I can still taste a carrot cake. It was tremendous. All because we accepted the opportunities at hand, and we accepted the help that was given to us. Now, people they offer help, and people they accept help. There are people who offer help, and there are people who accept help. Which side are you on, would you say? So this reminds me of another keynote engagement that I did involving Xfinity and Comcast. They hired me to speak at this event, all relating to the workforce and autism in the workforce. And this is really important too that I talked with the fellows over there, is that the workforce is a team effort. It really is. This was during the events with Comcast and Xfinity. So there are two sides. The workmates, they offer help, and then workers accept the help. So which side are you on? One thing I have heavily encouraged to young adults with autism is before you think about working, practice accepting help of any kind. So let me say that one more time. So before you start going into workforce, you must practice accepting help from others. Can you do that? I love giving out challenges there too. Hopefully you're keeping notes and keeping a little task list on what challenges I've come up with so you can try to do for yourself. So practice accepting help of any kind. From parents, teachers, and friends. You can accept help from parents and teachers and friends. Now, one really cool little fun fact I like to share because I'm from Seattle is that Microsoft has been hiring hundreds of workers with autism and have been succeeding in their products and have been providing benefits not only for the company but for the employees and the employers. So that's the power of acceptance. The workers, they accept themselves, the employees, they accept themselves, and the employers accept others to be in the workforce. So that's why I would say is that success is a team effort. We can all find our own independence in finding our own success. But everyone takes the moment to reach out for help in order to get to that point. So that's your ultimate challenge is to feel free, just accept freely, accept freely for any help of any kind. That's why in award shows that you see people thanking others for their achievements with their trophies as proof as how far they've gone in their careers. They can even go on and on, like maybe even more than 10 minutes or even half an hour. I've seen many times at the Grammys. Speaking of trophies and diplomas, there's this other success story that I would like to share, and that is Gateway Academy in Arizona. And this is a school that specializes in all students that have autism. So every student in that building has autism. And I watched all these students grow and, not grow, but I've seen all these students graduate and achieving their success. And I've seen the teachers and the students that equally worked tirelessly. So the students can succeed and find their futures, and teachers for giving students the opportunity to succeed in their futures. And it's really quite extraordinary. I still remember that too. That was the last keynote event I went to as of recent, and it's still really quite inspiring me to this day. Keep in mind though that many people with autism are listeners. They know what's going on, even though they might not show that they are listening, because a lot of kids with autism, they do not have the ability to speak at the moment, but they're expert listeners. I believe that people that succeed are the ones that listen. So a little bit of advice for anyone looking for boyfriend and girlfriend. So when you plan on going out for a date, be sure to be a great listener. If you want to do well, be a good listener. Now you know one of the reasons why I decided to wear red for this occasion. Now back to the topic. We can encourage people who cannot talk to give a sign. So when they are listening, so that they know, or excuse me, we can encourage them to give a sign so that you know that they are listening, like a little signal, or even a simple nod, like so. Those small things are humongous in successes. I really truly believe that. Even if it's just a simple, slight nod showing that they are listening, that's a giant success. That's why I say these small things are humongous successes. And making big breakthroughs in communication and understanding and accepting. So those are humongous breakthroughs in communication is by those little signals. Also keep in mind too that with autism, that people with autism, they truly want to be heard, but oftentimes don't have the ability to talk, and they would do whatever it takes to be heard. Whether it be art, or whether it be communicating through videos or music or dancing or screaming or even writing, perhaps. This was my way of showing that I want to be heard, is by writing a book. And because the reason why is because talking in general back when I was in school, it was way too difficult for me. So I decided to write a book instead. So that was my reason. What is your reason? Feel free to let us know. I really enjoy hearing those stories. They're all so the bottom line is that they are all alternatives to communicating without being able to speak verbally. And every day can be a new discovery. There will be challenges and trials every day for people who have autism and for people who care for those who have autism. To this, I say, never give up. Keep working with the person you care for that have autism. You will never know until how he or she will turn out. All you know is today, and look for the very small successes. For those who have autism, I say the exact same thing. Never give up. Don't let anyone's negative comments hold you back. You are amazing exactly the way you are. Never feel like you have to change or transform. And always remember that you should never, 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 ever diss your ability. There will be times, though, however, where you feel like you cannot accept, that you cannot accept, and you feel like a failure. I got news for you. You're going to fail. Well, so When you fail, do me a solid. When you fail, fail forward. This is why teamwork is so important for success. If you cannot accept yourself at the moment, there will be someone else that does all the accepting for you. Now, it's all a part of falling down and having someone pick you all the way back up, or as what I would say, get on my back and I will carry you. Do you accept defeat, or do you accept help that would lead towards the path of victory? Acceptance is two main things. Accept yourself. Accept yourself, you will have self-confidence. And self-confidence is a result of being accepted by others that will accept you just for being you, just for who you are. Your acceptance grows as your the constraint on what you can do with your unique abilities. Once you have mastered acceptance of yourselves and others, you will find yourself increasing your success in acceptance of yourself and acceptance from others. So get out there, challenge yourself, fail forward, build that self-confidence in building that success and finding your acceptance, and be confident that people will accept you for who you are. My name is Tyler Mcnamer. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. That was wonderful and an insight. We certainly are very appreciative of your time. We'd like to now open it up for any floor questions for Tyler. If anyone has any questions for Tyler, Kristen will walk around the audience. And anyone on Zoom, you can type in your chat questions, and we'll do our best to have Tyler answer any questions you might have for him. Anyone in the audience?
Hello.
How's it going?
My question is, with your communication, you start being nonverbal until the age of 6. Do you remember a specific age where you remember the turning point for yourself, being able to communicate your needs with others around you?
I feel like a good turning point when it comes to communication happened to be when I was transitioning. Well, when I was truly transitioning into adulthood. I feel like as soon as I turned 17 and close to 18, I kind of it's more smoothly and more that I don't really feel too afraid anymore too. Like even when I was in middle school, I used to carry a notebook, what I like to call my script on what I should be saying during social situations, that kind of thing. And I grew up with not being able to find my words and sometimes even stutter here and there too. But that's why I don't try to get rid of these challenges. I try to negotiate with these things too and make it much more workable for everyday situations. Thank you for asking.
Any other questions in the audience?
Hi, Tyler. I have a question. My question is about socialization with peers. At any age that you're at, how do you feel about the level of socialization that you have with peers? Is it important for you for it just to be functional, or do you long to keep learning and increasing your interactions?
And it's a question. Thank you so much for asking. And for me personally, I feel like I can interact with just about anyone. It's a little known fact that I love people. I love being around them. I love interacting, being social around them. I pretty much welcome everybody, as long as they don't have any hate in their hearts and toward me or for the community. My level of socialization, I can't even say it right. Look at that. My level of socialization, it can be all over the place. You know, one moment I'm shy, and then the next moment I'm more outgoing and wanting to talk nonstop about NASCAR or baseball. You know, that's it kind of just goes all over the place. I don't really believe that shyness is more of a characteristic with you know, with autism, in my personal opinion. Like I even saw like Jane Goodall came to a conclusion that there are gorillas that actually have different personalities, and she knows that one of the gorillas happens to be much more shy than the others. So I don't really think of the shyness as a characteristic for autism, but that's just my personal opinion. So I've been seeing that people with autism that would talk nonstop about their favorite subjects. When it comes to peers, I can adjust to basically whatever situation there is, from rock concert to nightclubs and to the library. Yeah, it's fun to socialize. I would go, you know, I went, you know, it really is. And you know, one of these days I kind of am ready for a date one of these days too. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm already excited. Oh, when I was there. Oh yeah, my assistant Jody Mcnamer has let me know what about when I was younger. So yeah, oh my goodness, I didn't even prepare for that. So when I was very little, much younger, when it comes to socialization, I felt like all I really had in mind was I just want someone to play soccer with, or I just want someone to play baseball or you know, go to PE with, and all that kind of stuff. That was just basically my my you know, mentality back in the day. That's all I really much cared for it back then, and I felt like, you know, back you know, during elementary school, being social with other kids was a lot easier because of learning the concept of playtime, and I don't want playtime to ever stop. And that's how I was able to understand competitiveness and wanting to keep on going, don't stop, and be able to interact with others thanks to elementary.
Hi, Tyler. We are the parents of an autistic child. Our daughter has autism. She'll be 22 soon, and we were just wondering what you feel were your biggest challenges in your young adult years. Was it, I know you just talked a lot about socialization, or was it finding employment, or just what did you think was the hardest thing to overcome?
I believe the hardest thing to overcome was mostly depression. I mean, yeah, you know, it's pretty much the easy answer for that kind of thing too. But no, I think the main reason that, you know, for that challenge is because it's like you know, why am I so different? And you know, even like I'm just screaming at the mirror, you know, screaming, you know, why can't you hear what I hear, or why can't you see what I see? That's what I kind of like to do, and you know, because you know, when I was in school, there was a lot of kids that don't really quite understand me so well. It's like I'm trying my best to be social. I'm trying my best to, you know, try to enunciate what I was trying to say, but you know, I just couldn't put the words together properly and all that kind of thing. And that to me was kind of a big challenge and all that kind of thing too. And there were some other challenges that are kind of more, I guess, minimum, but I feel like it's kind of a big deal. It was just mostly about feeling like people, you know, once autism is in the air, the folks would assume that they have to go easy on me on certain things, whether it comes to academics or especially competitive sports. Like I remember when I was playing basketball and or football, and people were going a little bit easier on me here too whenever I get the ball, and you know, I kind of just look at that super confused, and it's like, you know, what's going on? Why aren't they trying to take the ball away from me or anything like that too? So you know, that's just one of the challenges for that kind of stuff, is that whole concept of limitations and all that kind of thing too. And for me personally, I want to be challenged. I want to make mistakes, and I want to feel defeated so that I can learn much more properly and that kind of thing. And it definitely worked when it comes to depression. You know, just the mere fact that it's like, you know, hey, I want friends. I mean, you know, and as a matter of fact, let me get these two real quick. one of the main reasons why I even wrote these books in the first place is to find acceptance and to find friends at the community. Find friends, especially at school. I couldn't really quite talk to them and say, can we be friends? No, instead I decided to write a book instead in hopes of achieving that milestone of gaining friendship and acceptance. So that's why I did. I kind of wrote those books as therapy, and I'm very glad that there's people out there that that perhaps feel the same way. So every day I'm always so thankful for my readers. So thank you very much, and for the question too, because it wasn't an easy question. but yeah, thank you so much. I love a good challenge.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi.
Clearly, you have participated in a lot of different autism programs through as you've grown up. Which one do you feel there should be more of for children with autism?
Oh yes, no joke. Every time I go to keynote events, there's always one question that's like even more informative than the other. It's like I mean, these are deep questions that are worth pondering over. So if I were to kind of choose, I would try to go for schools that are similar to Gateway Academy in Arizona, where it's where all the students have autism and all the teachers specialize on these students who have autism. And to me, in my personal opinion, once you kind of have that diagnosis and have this kind of this gated or not gated this a community kind of thing in this little space where you understand each other and understand all these different things that we are extremely good at, then I do believe that there are some major breakthroughs say here and there too. However, I do believe that interacting with other kids that don't have autism, to me personally, I think that was like one of the biggest lessons too, because otherwise I wouldn't learn how to have fun if it weren't for the children out there too, because I was quite much more serious and kind of just more direct, and I didn't really have too much expression, believe it or not. It was just always kind of a blank poker face kind of thing too, and with the help of peers and students, they were able to show that there's another side that's just as amazing.
Good question or good answer, Tyler. Misericordia University recently was approved for a comprehensive transition post-secondary program. We are very proud that we will be developing an integrated studies program here on campus. So we will be allowing students to enroll into the integrated studies program. So hopefully we'll be able to have many more students join our Misericordia student population. I see that we have a chat question. What were those characteristics in your teachers that were most helpful for you?
Ooh, that is a question. I had a really good relationship with my teachers, from whether it be elementary school, intermediate school, middle school, and high school. I've had a really good, decent relationship. The characteristics that I would define is approachable. Approachable mean like someone that you feel comfortable being with, or even like holding on to when things go on. There is a good balance for directness too. So I wasn't going easy here too. If I made a mistake that I know was a bad decision, they would call me out. They say, Tyler, walk with me, please, and then take me to specialized rooms where it's very quiet. There's dark lighting, and they rolled me up into a taco, that kind of thing too, or a burrito, and so when I do something that's a bit of a mistake, and especially when I know that's a bad mistake, and they know that I know it's a bad mistake, then they would call me out. So directness, that kind of thing too. It's like because teachers they do their job. I believe teachers. What makes a really good teachers, in my opinion, is that they truly want their students to succeed, and he will do whatever it takes to get to that point. So directness. And three, very friendly and informative too, because I really enjoy the studies too. Like I go to the library every so often to read and learn new things. So teachers that provides new informative information, that's to me that's just really it's really quite spectacular. And I really excuse me, and I really enjoy good learning. So it's so yeah, this comes to that point where learning new things every day. And I do believe that there are people with autism that really love to enjoy learning new things every day. And that's one of those characteristics where people with autism, they're used to a routine, but that's true. And also there are some adjustments and all kind of things too. So I truly believe that there are no limitations, only adjustments.
A good point. I see that we have another chat question.
Yeah.
I can't read it. Can you move it over here to this side? My apologies. Thank you.
I love everything with
Showing my age, right?
Afterward.
Is there anything you wish your parents knew about autism growing up, or something parents should know about raising a child with autism?
That was a really good question, and a really common one too when it comes to that. I do know that when I was very young, like a toddler age, I knew my parents took action on what's going on. They know that something was quite, I wouldn't say off, because that sounds so degrading, but I would say they just know that there was something extra unique and extraordinary about this boy, and we need to make sure that he gets all the help that he needs. So straight into action. Diagnosed at age 2, and we got all the training and all this specialized academics that makes things social much more easier now, kind of thing too. Kind of like a little bit of a jump start, as you can say too. which actually that reminds me of this use. Now we used to play this game called Jumpstart, kind of thing. It was a good computer game concept, but it is true. 2 years old, it was a bit of a jump start, and I always kind of joke around saying that I had to graduate preschool twice, but no, that's just a developmentary preschool, and emphasis on developmentary because that's how you be able to develop at a very young age, so you can grow and develop more in the future. So the one thing I would say for parents is when you know that your child is extraordinary, take action now. Take action now, because doing it now will be worth tremendous results in the future.
Well, certainly, you are certainly an exemplary person from that. So we certainly commend your parents for being so wonderful and taking the action that they did. I think you're able to be successful because of the supportive family that you have. Do we have any other questions? Tyler, I'd like to thank you for your time and opportunity, your parents, Alana as well. You've been a wonderful inspiration to us, and certainly we will be raffling off your book to you, to our audience later on this evening. Again, I want to thank you very, very much. Yes, thank you. He was kind enough to send signature books to us, so thank you for the wonderful time and the informative questions. At this time, we'll take a brief 5-10-minute break so that we can set up for our panel. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, both in person and on Zoom. Again, for those that are joining us in Zoom, if you have any questions after the panel speaks, certainly send that in your chat, and we'll be sure to speak on your behalf. I'd like to take this opportunity again to introduce our panel speakers. Mrs. Kristen Leary, Vocational Rehabilitation Supervisor, Mrs. Joanna Cunningham, Managing Partner of Beyond Behavior, Ms. Melinda Baldinucci, Manager of the ALL Program, and Mr. and Mrs. John Olszewski, parents of the integrated study student here at Misericordia University. These three ladies here today provide crucial services to the autism spectrum disorder. John and Jen Olszewski are here to provide firsthand experience of just what these services can do to help as they have a daughter that has autism and the challenges that they have faced. Once they speak and introduce their program, we will open the floor again for any questions that you might have for our panel. Thank you.
Okay, hello. As Janine just said, I'm Mindy, and I'm the program manager for the Autism for Lifelong Learning program at Misericordia University. The ALL program, also known as the ALL program. So the ALL program is an employment program for individuals with autism, and we are qualified and licensed to provide services through the Office of Developmental Programs, the Bureau of Autism Services, and the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation. The individuals we serve must be diagnosed with autism or dually diagnosed with autism and intellectual disabilities. For the employment services, the ALL program serves individuals 16 and older, and for the pre-employment transition services that we offer, we serve the individuals between ages 16 and 21, and the group services, the age range is between 14 and 21. The pre-employment transition services for individuals include paid work experience and job shadow. And the school-based transition services for the groups includes curriculum that teaches independent living skills, self-advocacy training, workplace readiness training, and job exploration. We also provide supported employment in community integrated settings, making at least minimum wage. Throughout all of our services, we provide job coach support for the supported employment. The goal is to eventually fade the job coach support so that our participants can achieve total independence within the workplace. And then we also provide volunteer work through what's called a community-based work assessment. Our office is located within the Autism Center at Misericordia University, and we provide the school-based and employment services all throughout Luzerne and Wyoming counties. And we do this because we believe that the individuals with autism can be successful in the workplace. And we've seen that very much so in the participants that we have. We have individuals in a wide variety of settings. You know, some are doing like routine farm maintenance at, you know, some local farms in our area like Serendipity and Buttonhead Farms. We've even provided opportunities for a young man at WBRE. He was a production assistant. And you know, he was wildly successful with that. He had a lot of great natural supports as well as the job coach support. And you know, we also had a participant who is doing graphic design at Wet Paint, and we started off doing a paid work experience for her, and she did such a great job that they asked for her to come back, and they wanted to actually hire her and employ her. So we provided the job coach support as far as, you know, was needed, because we found that she was able to be very successful on her own. And she would provide, you know, updates to the ALL program and just say, you know, how proud of herself she was, which is really amazing, and that she'd even received a raise through her service. So she's doing awesome. We have a lot of new business partnerships. Pride Mobility and Neiman Marcus are two places that we're going to get people started very shortly. So we're very, very excited for the opportunities that, you know, we're able to provide for our individuals within this community. And, you know, we are always hoping for further referrals from the agencies that I did message. So we'd be happy, you know, if you do have an open case with OVR or a waiver through ODP, then, you know, we would be happy to see if the all program would be a nice fit for you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and this is my husband, John, and we are the proud parents of a daughter who was soon to be turning 22, Olivia, and she is the first enrolled student in the Integrated Studies program at Misericordia. And I was going to go through the programs that Olivia attended and how she ended up at Misericordia. First, I just want to tell you a little about myself. I worked for 11 years as a TSS, and I'm currently working for Reaching Beyond Limits. I started off there as a DSP, which is a direct support professional, working hands-on with the clients. Our clients are adults with either autism or intellectual disabilities. So I have the programs that I'm going to talk about that Olivia went through and just how we got to where we are. I have both personal experience and professional experience, so it was really neat and very helpful over the years to see it from both sides. But Olivia started off she was diagnosed at 3 years old. She started off in the early intervention program, and then she transitioned to Fairview Elementary School, where she did great. She then transitioned to Crestwood Middle School, and she also held her own there, did great academically, but what we learned, and unfortunately I think this is the same in any program, that if your child is at the higher, I hate to say higher and lower end of the spectrum, but if your child is not exhibiting aggression or behaviors of any sort, if they're sitting there and they're not focused, they'll have someone there in need to say, okay, pay attention, but that's about all they're gonna get. And we just felt that she needed a little more at the time. So we ended up, instead of high school, at the Crestwood School District, and this isn't particular to the Crestwood School District, so don't take that way. But we put her in the Graham Academy, which is, like Tyler spoke about, a school for children with autism. And she really did flourish there because I think there was a better understanding of what she required and what she needed. And she gained privileges where she could go outside for lunch if she wanted to. She had access to different areas of the building. She got a job in the office where she really loved that. I believe she answered phones, she sorted mail, she got to deliver mail through the school. So it was a really good experience for her. And then senior year came, and as parents, we're all so proud, but yet we dread that time when school's over. So we had to decide what was next. And what we decided on was the Soar program at Marywood College, which was an awesome program. It consists of 8 students, I think that's their limit, that they will take on. So she was in a classroom with 7 other kids with autism. She got to do certain jobs on the campus, and it was great. However, they didn't have the independence that she needed, so we knew we needed to take things kind of a step further. And her last year, where she would have had the most hands-on experience with her life skills and socialization and what it's like to live in a dorm, COVID happened, so she missed her last 3 months there, and there was no do-over. We were done, and she was 18 at that point. No, she was 21 at that point, because the SOAR program is a 2-year program. And when I said before that the students don't need to, if they don't act out, if they don't have aggressive behaviors, then they don't get that attention. So I think it turns around on the parents, and we have to be the aggressive ones, and we have to be the one, it's terrible to say, but show those behaviors so we can get what we need for our kids. And I heard through the grapevine that a program was starting at Misericordia College, and it sounded perfect for what we wanted for Liv. And I reached out to the person who I found out was starting up this program, and we spoke, and we thought it was a great fit for Olivia, and we thought, and vice versa. So we're like, okay, let's get started, let's do this. the director at the time left Misericordia for another job. So John and I, of course, panic. Well, me more than John. And we're like, what's going to happen now? Where do we go? What do we do? Do we just wait it out and see what happens? And we waited it out to see what happens. And one day I got a call or an email and said, we have a new director, and her name is Janine Sturinsky. So we met with Janine, and I don't remember if it was a Zoom call or a phone conference or, you know, all those crazy things that happened during COVID. But after our discussion, I just got a very good feeling about Janine. She was very well versed in the autism community, so for lack of a better word, and I could tell she had her heart in it, because over the years, like when I said I have personal experience and professional experience, I've seen a lot of classrooms where teachers, different people in the industry, their heart just wasn't in it, and you knew that when you spoke with them. Janine, I got that opposite effect, and we just thought she was wonderful, and you are. So we decided, okay, we're going forward, we're gonna do what we need to do, and now Olivia, she's completing her first year on campus. She has taken 2 college classes each semester, along with her core courses in the Autism Center. And what I like about this program, I have access to Janine, God love her. I'm either calling or texting or emailing her at all times. What I liked about this program is that they focus on not what they can't do. They never say, oh, she's not gonna succeed in this, she's not good at this, let's try something else. Janine would come to me and say, look, Liv is a great writer. Let's build on that, let's go forward. Let's get her a newspaper internship, and let's see what we could do to build on those interests. So it was always a very positive experience and building on those positive things rather than look at the negative. So that we were very grateful for. She does have educational coaches, academic coaches, I'm sorry, I always say the wrong term, who are awesome. They were students, I believe, mostly in the speech and occupational therapy programs, special ed, OTPTs, and they are wonderful. They were so closely matched with what Olivia needed, and they help her with homework, they attend classes with her, they study with her, they've helped her navigate the campus to, now this semester, she went from the Autism Center to her class, back to the Autism Center, back and forth. Now she spends more time with her coaches up on the upper campus, which is great. And I know we had discussed this, that eventually it'll get to the point where she's doing it on her own. And I know she's perfectly capable of that. And that was another thing that I also felt so comfortable with, because Janine had said to me, a lot of things Liv has to come home and they're given like little assignments, like try something, help your mother out with this, or do the dishes, or make your bed, or, you know, a lot of things that as parents, it's hard for us to let go and give them control of something. But this always sticks with me. Janine said, we're here for not just Olivia, we're here for you and John as well. So any help we needed, you know, we could call them and they were there. And she said too that we have to let her spread those wings, become more independent, and, you know, just be Liv. And we did that, and she's doing absolutely wonderful. One of the highlight for me, and I think John agrees with me, we were at a function at the Autism Center, and I had said to Janine, you know, like any kid, typical or not, she would come home from school and we'd say, how was your day? Who did you go to lunch with? Who did you talk to? And she would say, I had lunch by myself. I didn't talk to anybody. And as a mother, it broke my heart. It didn't bother her, but it broke my heart. And when we were speaking, I said, oh, you know, Liv told me she doesn't really speak with anyone at lunch. She doesn't sit with anyone. And Janine said, wait, stop right there. That's not the case at all. She loves to go to Passon Hall to the Starbucks there, so she'll tell you to get her cookies or triple chocolate cookies every day. And Janine said she goes there, she texts people, whether it be her job coaches or other girls that she met there, and she actually texts them on her own without prompting to meet her for lunch. And I never thought I would see the day. I hoped and prayed I would. I'll probably start crying now, but that was the high point of her experience. And we're only halfway through. We have another year to go. So I could only imagine the good that's yet to come. That's our story.
We have our own, but that's hard to follow. I think you gave me chills like 3 times during that speech, and so that's an amazing story, and something that we love to hear. I think, probably all of us on the panel, that's why we do what we do every day, and so that was really great, really nice story. I'm glad to hear she's doing so well, and I'll talk a little bit about Beyond Behavior Consulting. So Beyond Behavior Consulting was started in 2014 by Jennifer Silva and Danielle McGurk, who are co-owners with me of the company. I came along a little bit later and started some additional programs with them. Jen and Danielle worked at New Story, and they became board-certified behavior analysts. They studied applied behavior analysis. And when they studied applied behavior analysis, they realized the lack of services, specifically in ABA, that were, in our area. They started Beyond Behavior Consulting, and it was one of the first applied behavior analysis agencies in the area, and something that was extremely needed. The growth that we have experienced in the last 5 to 8 years has been extremely exponential, and that's due to the need in the area and the need for the clients and families that we serve. So I joined in 2017. I was a special education teacher. I taught early intervention, and I had the same goal, the same dream. I said, I just thought to myself that there are so many, educational services are amazing, and in early intervention, it was so important in those foundational years to really provide education to children, especially with children with autism and children with special needs, but services were limited. They're 2.5 hours long of classroom services, and really the clients that we serve need 35 to 40 hours of treatment at that age. So how do we establish that and bring that to the area and make sure that clients get what they need? So when I went to work with Jen and Danielle, I was like, these ladies are awesome. I have to be a part of this. This is where I need to be. Let's start a center. And so we now service children from 2 to 21 years old, and we service them in the home, school, and community. And we service children in our clinic setting. So we have a center that we service children from 2 years old to 6 years old. And we do comprehensive treatment of autism, specifically in applied behavior analysis. So from 2 to 6, in the clinic location that we currently have, we're doing one-to-one services. So children who really need to build prerequisite skills in order to be in less restrictive settings, those are the kiddos that come to the center. They're the kids that need to get self-injury down. They need to decrease aggression. They need to really increase their verbal skills and communication skills, and they're not yet ready to be in a group or sit for long periods of time or do those things. And so we really focus on child-centered learning and child-centered progress in terms of building skills so that they can then move to less restrictive settings. We're in the process of opening a center that would be a group approved for group care, so our children can go from a one-to-one setting, learning those foundational prerequisite skills of communication, to a group setting where they can participate more in skills of how to parallel play and how to sit next to peers and how to follow them and how to sit in a group and start to participate in that, in those types of activities. And then hopefully when they go to school age, they're ready, more ready for less restrictive settings and environments. We also have started enrichment programming where we do some after-school programming and we do summer camp programming, and we partner and collaborate with other organizations in the community and bring them into our clinic so that our students and clients can learn to build skills so that hopefully one day they can go out and do those skills in the community with their peers. So we bring in a local karate instructor and he teaches karate, and we do that for 6 to 8 weeks, and we build skills with behavior therapists and with board-certified behavior analysts so that one day, our clients can go out and do karate in the community. And if not, then they can do karate, in our clinic for as long as they need to do that. So we do karate and we do theater and yoga and Zumba, and we're at Hillside Farms this semester. So we try to do all different activities throughout the year so that everybody can kind of pique their interests and see where they go. We also run a summer program that's based on all of that as well. We try to incorporate as much enrichment as possible, and we also incorporate applied behavior analysis through our entire program. So our clients are with behavior health technicians and under the supervision of board-certified behavior analysts to just build skills to gain life skills and to experience their interests and to do things that they love and learn how to communicate through things that they enjoy. I think, overall, it's our goal to create a space where families can come and get everything that their child needs and provide training to schools. We also have partnerships with school districts where we embed ABA right into the school district, which is something that is really needed in our area and not there yet. We hope to help that gain some momentum and help schools realize that with the use of applied behavior analysis and with that science delivered through the district, they can really make progress and allow students to be in their home district with their siblings and with their peers. So that's the goal for us.
Hello? Okay. Well, I don't like going last. You guys all sound so great. Okay. So my name is Kristen Leary. I work for the Office of Vocational Rehab. We are a state agency that works with people with disabilities regarding employment and independent living skills. We work with people throughout their entire working lives as needed to prepare for, obtain, maintain, or advance in employment. We're not a lifelong service, but like I said, people come in and out of our services as needed. We started around 2014, increasing our presence with high school students. We realized that the sooner we become involved with an individual, the sooner we can get to know them, get to know their interest, expose them to different vocational topics, locations, experiences, and they're going to be more prepared for when they exit school. We often hear a lot from parents, like they get very nervous when school is ending and what's going to happen. So we try to help prepare for that so that we know what's going to happen. We have a plan in place. Through some of our services, we do supported employment, which is job coaching, an agency similar to ALL, like Mindy was talking about. We do job shadowing, so an individual can go out in the community and observe people doing different jobs that they might be interested in, or different locations that you can do different jobs in, just to get more exposure to what it could be like to do it on an everyday basis. I often say that, sometimes we think we know what we want to do, and we start to do it and we're like, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be like, or it's exactly what I thought it was going to be like. But just having that more exposure and awareness to what it's like to do it on an everyday or a consistent basis helps individuals make those decisions and make the next steps in services. We do restorative services, so hearing aids, glasses, wheelchairs, prosthetics, vehicle modifications. We do training, so we assist with college tuition. We pretty much can do anything to help somebody maintain or obtain their employment. We try to make it as individualized as possible, so that's why our favorite word is it depends. Like somebody will ask, can we do something? I'm like, well, it depends. Let me think about it and figure out a way to get it done. And that's what we try to do. For our pre-employment transition services, those are the services that we focus specifically on for ages 14 to 21 who are still enrolled in school. They can be things like a paid work experience, which is basically like a temporary internship. It's that first exposure to work. What's it like to have a boss? What's it like to have coworkers, to have to get your tasks done at a certain time of your schedule, how to get your paycheck, what are taxes, all these things that we learn from that first job, that first experience. So we do that. We do the job shadowing, like I mentioned, and we do a lot of vocational counseling and guidance. So getting to know the individual, getting to know their team, their support system, what they like doing, what they're good at doing, what things they're interested in, and then how do we find a career or job and a path that uses those interests, abilities, and skills. And then how do we get to that path? Does it require additional training? Does it require experience to help somebody get ready for that? Once somebody is placed at a job, whether it's through supported employment like the ALL program, we would continue with them until they were steady on their job and didn't really need anything else from us, or they got to their highest independent level. That could be somebody needs somebody with them all the time, or they can fade and start building some natural supports, or anywhere in between all of that. We partner a lot with the Office of Developmental Programs so that individuals that we share, we have a seamless transition of services. So we could help somebody get prepared for a job, get them placed in a job, make sure they're there, they're steady, everything's okay. And if they continue to need some on-job support, some from a job coach, we can move on to ODP funding for that as long as that's available to that individual. But we work simultaneously with the supports coordinators to make sure of that continuation of services and that everybody's on the same page and making sure that the person is as successful as possible. I can talk about OVR all day, so I'm just gonna stop.
Thank you so much. That was all very informative. And like you said, we're all here, and you're all here too, both live and in person, because of the passion and the advocacy and the belief that we believe we can make a difference in this population. Any questions online or in person? Kristen will be coming around with the microphone. Thank you.
My question is for John and Jen. So what were some other challenges that you faced as parents with Olivia and when she was growing up?
Well, I guess basically a lot of the typical challenges. I think the first challenge that you have as a parent is kind of building on the theme of acceptance. Is like your daughter's diagnosed with autism, and you're not sure exactly what it is. There's different levels on the spectrum. So the first thing we had to do was kind of accept what she had, and then after that, I think the main thing is, as a parent, you got to work as a team. I mean, to try to get all the services that you need and all the stuff that's out there, it's hard. I mean, it's out there, but you still have to work to get it. So, that's one thing that we did. We worked as a team, and we're able to get a lot of services for Olivia. I'm kind of disappointed looking around. I'm old, I can't see that well, but I don't think there's too many males in the audience, and that's unfortunate because I think you really need to be a team, both working to get what you need for your daughter or your son. And then I think the third thing, as she got older, that's a challenge, is there's a lot of services out there, but everybody kind of does their own thing. And as a parent, it's kind of your job to be like the coach of the team and kind of make sure that you get everybody on the same page, because if somebody teaches her one thing and then at school they're teaching her something completely different, and then at camp they're saying something different, the child gets confused and then it doesn't work. So I think it's your job to be on top of it from day one as a so-called coach of the team to make sure everybody is doing what's best for your son or your daughter. I'm done.
Thank you. Another question? Down here, Courtney. You have one?
Hello, my name is Jessica. I work at, as a program coordinator at Beyond Behavior Consulting. Many of our kiddos are on the younger side, and now we do have a handful that are getting teenage and into that transition kind of period. And so it's kind of like a fresh area for me. How can we stress the importance to parents on a parental level that, all right, this is kind of the next step of what we need to start doing? Is there programs for parents to kind of give them the education of these transition programs? And how can we go about giving them the appropriate information?
So I don't know about any programs specifically for parents, but I know with OVR, we often get invited or introduced to the student through IEP meetings through their home district, but we can take referrals from anybody. So if you guys were working with a student who's, turning transition age, which in Pennsylvania is 14, you can reach out to OVR. We can come and we can do group services similar to what Mindy was talking about before about different pre-employment transition related topics. A lot of times, this is the first time that people are talking about this. We talk about communication skills, how to talk to your boss. Are you going to disclose your disability? Do you have to disclose it? If so, when? To who? And what, why? Not everybody at work needs to know your whole medical history. So we talk about that when it's important to do that. What are reasonable accommodations? What is something reasonable to ask for at work? Hygiene, social skills at work. We do a lot of social media things and how that can affect you at work. And this is not specific to students with disabilities. All students need to be very well aware of the effect that the things they post can have on their future life. So that's always a very big topic with the students. But when we meet with the families, either at the IEP meeting or at subsequent meetings, that's when we start to become part of the team, and we try to hear what their concerns are, what they're interested in, and we use our information, our services, as well as resources that we can connect them to. So if somebody isn't connected with the Office of Developmental Programs, we often make that referral. If we know about different programs or different camps or different things that are happening, we often, share that information as needed. We get lots of information about different trainings and different events happening, and we forward those out as much as possible to anybody who might be interested in using that.
Hi, I have two questions. First one for John and Jen, and then the second one will be for the panel as a whole. The first question is, with waiting to see what was going to happen when COVID came, that fear of not knowing what was going to happen, what if it hadn't worked out? What would your next step have been?
Yeah, I'm good. Hopefully John has a better answer to this than I do, because I really don't know. It's even at this stage of the game, she has a year left, which is awesome, and we're still thinking. I know we have to live in the moment, consider what's going on today, and just take it day by day. But I think as parents, that's always something that's on our minds. What next? Like we say, after this program, okay, it's real world time. What are we going to do? And to be honest, that's a great question, and I really don't know. I probably would have knocked on a bunch of doors and asked everyone I know, what could we do? What's out there? What options are there? Because that's one thing I would recommend to parents. You need to surround yourself with other people that are in the same boat as you and who've been through the same things you've been through. And you have to ask questions, because that's the only way you're going to get to where you need to be. So I don't know if there's anything else.
No, that's an honest answer. I mean, I don't know either what we would have done, but we would have done something. And, we would search and we could have gotten her part-time jobs and this, that, and the other thing. At the end of the day, we wanted to give her a chance at a college-type atmosphere, and fortunately it worked out here. And if it didn't work out here, I'm sure we'd be searching, you know, somewhere else. So like I said before, it's a lot of work, and you got to look around, and you got to talk to different people and see what you hear about. I mean, we've been pretty involved in the autism community from day one, and I still hear like stuff like, "Oh, there's this program." I'm like, "How come we never heard about that?" So we would look, because now we've been around it long enough to know that if you look, there's a lot of stuff out there. You just got to work hard to find it.
Like Tyler said, action. Yeah.
Thank you for that. For the panel as a whole, I also go to a lot of events, and I started at the Live with Autism support events at the Graham Academy. And I remember even before COVID, only a handful, if that, would be there. And that was with free childcare, food, drinks, not those kind of drinks, but drinks. But the engagement has always been low, always. And it doesn't matter if it's free, if it's a ticket that they've paid for, the engagement is so low with parents. And as a parent myself with an 8-year-old, if you don't go, you can't almost grow and see what else is out there. And I know it's difficult for a lot of families to get out because of the circumstances that go along with it. But how can we get the engagement to get higher? And what does that, I mean, are there anything on the horizon that you guys know of, or, you know, we can all work together, like it doesn't matter, we just need to make it happen. And that engagement, why is it so low, and how can we make it better in your eyes?
I'm going to throw in a comment here before anybody else goes. Unfortunately, I was at, obviously, some of the events that you were at, and it was frustrating because we try to do, you know, everything to get people there, and it just never happened. And it got totally frustrating, but I think you have to start in the schools. I know you mentioned that you guys, and I think you guys were getting in the schools too. I mean, because if you can get information in front of them in the schools, they can take that home and then maybe get the parents interested. Because otherwise, I mean, we used to put it on Facebook or whatever, and it didn't work. I mean, and it was frustrating. But I think if you could get it into the schools, that'd be a way to get the information out there. And then after that, then you can start to build on it.
And that's, we did have, John and I started an autism foundation. Unfortunately, we just don't have the time to continue with that now because bigger kids, more time, more stuff we're, you know, involved with directly with her. But I think you have to get the word out there, and the schools are a great place to start. But not everybody's accepting of you coming in, and it's crazy the obstacles you face when all you want to do is get the word out there. So what I'm basically saying is, I know where your heart is, Lindsay. You're a fighter. You're one of those parents that are going to misbehave, like I said, to get what you need for your son. And unfortunately, you just got to keep fighting the fight and keep going and going and going.
And I was just going to say, I know, speaking from the point of view of people that are trying to put those events out there and trying to make things accessible for families and for clients, and you know, it's punishing. It is. It's like, you know, you do a ton of work and you're trying to get people to attend and trying to do something for everyone, and when only a handful of people show up, it does affect your behavior to do it in the future. It's going to sound totally cliche, but the 4 people that come and the difference that it makes in their life is what rewards me to keep trying to do it over and over again. And the more that you can get those 4 people to tell their friends, and then, you know, 8 people come next time, we just keep striving for that.
I was also going to say that we have the same issue in, engagement, and we'd have parent nights, information nights, and 1 or 2 families would show up, and again, it's frustrating and everything, but I think that we've had an increase in that sense, our increased presence in the schools, through our counselors being there more often, attending more IEP meetings, having the group services in there, and the schools they were resistant at first when it started because it was new, but every time it's successful, or every time it shows a benefit, it just increases the chance that they're going to ask for more, and they're going to ask us to be there more often. And even if we can't be there, they have a good base understanding now to talk to the parents at IEP meetings, or when a parent comes in for a meeting or calls about something. There at least is a resource now that's readily available in most of their minds, because we are making such a presence in the schools over the last several years. And it just takes success. And again, if it's only 1 or 2 families this time, if it's 2 more families the next time. And I know it's small, and I know there's so many people out there that we're not reaching, but honestly, I mean, even with finding jobs, word of mouth and networking is the way that you get success. So I think it's the same with these programs and events and things like that we have. The more exposure that we can get out there, it's only going to increase the likelihood of it. I was just going to say the last thing is that OVR has often been called like the best kept secret in the state. And this is part of the reason why. People don't, often know about it, but hopefully that's changing a little bit with some of the things that we're able to get out there now.
I was just going to add to what you were saying, to say that consistency is kind of key, and I feel like families have so much on their plate, especially parents, right? Parents have so much to do, so much to think about, so much work to be done, and just even the thought of that is stressful, right? The thought of the rest of your child's life is stressful. And so keeping consistency in what you offer, even though only a couple of people attend, those couple of people are the ones that need to attend that day. They're the ones that in that moment have to be there and have to get that support. And so it's super important to just keep offering that. And what we also try to do is offer things that parents don't have to be at. Offering parents a night to be at home and to know that somebody's there to take care of your child and that knows how to take care of your child, and just have the opportunity to do that. It has been super important and has been a gateway to families making connections with each other. I'm dropping my child off for you to take them for a parents' night out, but in the meantime, I have 5 minutes to catch up with Susie and say, hey, how's it going, and what are you doing, and how are things? And so I think just networking even by chance on a time when they can be relaxed helps as well.
Mindy, this question is for you. How does a business obtain your services?
So with the ALL program, we do a lot of, calling out to businesses specifically based on the participants' skills and abilities and their unique interests. So it's not like we are, just saying like, okay, stocking opportunity, we're going to get you at a grocery store, we're going to get you at a grocery store. It's very, very personalized to, we play on the strengths of the individual participant, and we reach out specifically to businesses where we know that there would be a position as such where they would get that experience. But again, with word of mouth, we try to get as much marketing out there. So any business is encouraged to get a hold of us in whatever way they see fit. We have social media outlets on Facebook, on Instagram. We have our monthly newsletter, email, our business cards. Like no matter what, there's a way to find us, and we will gladly accept you into our business partnership, just in case eventually a participant comes along where they might be able to benefit from something that you have to offer or a need that you may need filled.
Very good, thank you.
I'm also going to say with OVR, several years ago, we started a new position called a business service representative in our office, and that person's main goal is to engage with businesses and see how we can assist them as also a customer of ours, whether it's helping them maintain the current employees they have who may need some accommodations or may need some assistance to continue doing the job they have, or if it's disability or awareness training or increasing the inclusivity of their workforce by looking to hire additional individuals who might have disabilities. That's mainly what her goal is. So, you know, she's been developing those relationships for an awful long time. The counselors, when they get to know the customers, again, are finding out what they're interested in, what they're looking at. And they'll talk to agencies like, hey, here's what we've been talking about. This is where their interest is at. I know somebody here, and we just kind of work together like that. But I will say one of the positives of COVID has been the need for workers in so many different fields and environments that employers and businesses are very open right now to anything. So we have a lot of different services going on at a lot of different businesses because they need people there to do the job. And if we have somebody that can help them with that, it's just helping everybody. It helps other employees there seeing individuals with disabilities out doing the same job as them. It helps our supported employment agencies continue to build those relationships with the businesses because they're there on site as well. Getting to know the staff, getting to know everything like that, and seeing where there's additional needs. And it helps our individuals because they're working and they're contributing and they're getting everything that we get from work.
Thank you. One last question. I know we're down to the wire as far as time goes. This might be for anyone on the panel. Where does a family start when trying to get services for their child?
No.
Yep.
Okay. Where do you start? I could tell you when you start. You start as early as possible because it's not going to be an overnight thing. You're going to have to go. We had a transition specialist come in, OVR came in, and it was all at the IEP meeting. And that's just how we got started with the transitioning, right? Was there anything else you want to add?
No. I mean, first of all, you talk to other people. I think that's the best way. You know, different support groups. There's some people at the schools that you start in, they'll know some programs that are going on. So you just ask around. And I'm not a technology guy, but I'm sure these days you can go on the internet and find out what services are available out there. But I think the key is just start early and don't give up because it's not easy. It's not easy. There's a lot of hoops you got to jump through to get what you need for your son or daughter. So I would just say start easy or start early and keep going. That's about the best I could say.
Yeah, I think just to expand on that, starting soon is super important. Starting as early as possible is super important. And before your child is in school, reaching out to your doctors, reaching out to pediatricians, developmental pediatricians, they can get you services that you need or point you in the right direction. Applied behavior analysis services specifically start as early as the age of 2. We've even seen that starting a little bit earlier as children are getting diagnosed a little earlier even. So your primary care physician at that age, when they're that young, is always going to be your main point of contact. It's going to be the person that you ask, all of the questions to, and they're going to be the people that refer you to the places that you need to go. So they're starting as early as birth. There are birth to 3 services in the state that are statewide, right, I believe, and then they transition from 3 to services of 3 to 5, and then school-age services. So, there's people out there and available, and resources available if you speak to your doctors.
And if your student or your child is getting into the transition age around 14 or between that, still in the in school system, I would ask about getting connected with OVR. Again, it's not going to be overnight, but it's a process, and it's steps, and it's learning, and it's getting somebody to the point that they're ready to be out in the world working to their fullest potential, and that doesn't happen overnight. So the sooner we get involved, the better it usually is.
There is a whole world of services out there, especially locally as well. So basically, wherever you're at, obviously starting early is better. But you know, if you have a 16-year-old and you know you have unique thoughts of what you'd like for them, Parenting Autism United is a new nonprofit in our area in Kingston. And the sole purpose of that nonprofit agency is to connect parents and to provide resources and, you know, networking for any, like I said, any stage of life. She has a lot of information on where you can send and what services your son or daughter may be eligible for. And, you know, a lot of those support groups, it's really great because we have a huge community and everyone's willing to help, and you know the networking is strong. So if you are, you know, a parent of an individual with autism, there's a lot out there for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending tonight's Autism Speaker Series. Before we adjourn, I'd like to give a special thanks to a few important individuals that honestly helped make this event possible. To Mrs. Kristen Geske, the Center's administrative assistant. She was certainly the glue that kind of held me together this past week. Mr. John Cedar and JB Earl from Earl and Cedar Photography. You were my rock and my pillar today. Certainly, I'm very grateful. Look forward to upcoming YouTube videos that they will be putting together, both of our Integrated Studies program and also our Autism for Lifelong Learning program, so that we can share that resource to other people outside of Luzerne County. Mr. Sam Jarvis, Director of Enrollment Marketing, Ms. Alicia Stavitsky, Social Media Marketing Strategist, Mr. David Pasquini, Coordinator of Enrollment Marketing, Mr. Randy Schmiflenbeck, User Support Programmer Analyst, Mr. Steve Filipiak, Web Content Coordinator, Mr. Dave Jondro, Manager of PC Services, Dr. Richard Handcuff, Manager of Online Hearing Systems, Mr. Dan Bolthouse from JP Lilly, and Dr. Barbara Schwartz-Bachet. Without all of you, today's event would not have been so successful. I'd also like to raffle off these 2 books that Tyler had signed for us. The first winner is Courtney, our social work intern. And the second winner is Robert C. from Functional Connections. If he's not here, I'll be sure to give it to him. Again, thank you all and have a great night. Thank you.